champions, for the champions. Stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up. Here we go, it's getting close. Now it's just who wants it most. It's just life, that's how it is. 'Cause we have our strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I have vision, can't you see? I'm on the move, make way for me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up.
A very beautiful Monday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on Fair Play. Today is the 6th of October 2025. We're glad to be here again on your screen to bring you everything sports, and of course from home and in the diaspora. My name is Dianime Uko. I'm not going to be doing this alone. I have my man John Paul Alumona, who will be doing justice to the stories from the world of sports together with me this afternoon. The next 30 minutes we will be doing some justice. It's going to be some back and forth on some sporting activities that did happen from last week into the weekend and even up until this morning. But before I welcome John Paul, let me quickly bring us up to speed with the fact that Arsenal are now top of the English Premier League. That did happen after they defeated West Ham by 2-0. And of course, that was even made possible after Liverpool lost at the Stamford Bridge to Chelsea. Chelsea defeated Liverpool by 2-1. That last minute, or that last second goal by Estevao made that difference, and of course relinquished Liverpool to second place in the English Premier League. Also recall that during midweek, Liverpool also did lose in the UEFA Champions League to Galatasaray, having our own Victor Osimhen on the scoring sheet on that particular one, scoring the only goal for Galatasaray against Liverpool. And so that's a back-to-back loss for Liverpool. And it was not just for Liverpool alone. Let us move very quickly away to the La Liga, where Barcelona, who hitherto were top of the La Liga table, also did lose scandalously to Sevilla at the Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium, and we had some Nigerians really do well. We had Ejuke, who Chidera Ejuke, who was also and Ako Adams. Of course, they did very well for their teams, and they made the Sevilla fans proud. Right now, as we speak, Barcelona are no longer top of the La Liga. Real Madrid, the perennial champions, are back again on top of the La Liga. That is not to say they are the defending champions. Barcelona are defending champions of the La Liga. However, that is what it is. Let's also not forget that Barcelona did lose also during the midweek to PSG, who are the current UEFA Champions League champions. They lost in their home at the Camp Nou by 2-1. Yes, PSG did defeat Barcelona again 2-1. So back-to-back defeat for Liverpool in the English Premier League, back-to-back defeat for Barcelona in the La Liga. That is how things stand at the moment. And of course, for a couple of other matches that were played in the English Premier League, we had, like I said, Arsenal defeating West Ham by 2-0. We had Newcastle United defeating Nottingham Forest by 2-0. Everton defeating Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace looking like they were not going to be defeated in the campaign, but Everton came very strong, defeated them by 2-1. Manchester City won away from home at Brentford. It was just a 1-goal win. And also, very importantly, Manchester United defeated Sunderland by 2-0. I think these were about the biggest games that were played in the English Premier League. Having said that, let me now welcome my friend, my brother, and of course, one who will always be around and never present in the world of sport, John Paul Alumona, so we can get this conversation started. Good afternoon, John Paul. Good to have you join me on this.
Good afternoon, Danny. Nice to be here again this morning, and I'm happy that Manchester United won. And you stressed it. It was actually very important. You made it clear. And Liverpool, they walked alone. You know, in football, that is the interesting thing about it. If it just one-sided,
you're always praying for the victims.
No, I'm not. It's not. But no, I just want a level playing ground whereby some teams will lose, some teams will win, so that it will be, it will be interesting. Because if your team keep on losing, it will be as if it's not football any longer. But if you give these people, you give these people, and it starts looking that way. So that is it. Nice to be here, and then we'll go on.
Okay, very quickly, let us dwell for 1 minute in the English Premier League. Liverpool lost, and so that gave Arsenal an opportunity to top the league. So they're now top of the English Premier League with just 2 points. Of course, Liverpool following very closely. Arsenal, it's always been this way. It's always been a ding-dong affair for Arsenal.
Exactly.
Arsenal, Liverpool. The last 3 seasons. But Arsenal will always end up finishing the league's second on the log. Yeah. Is it going to be any different, or should we expect that it's going to be...
Thank God you said it, because normally I know Arsenal fans won't be happy with me, but the truth is that they're always good. They are early starters. They will just try to rush and top the table. Before you know it, they will start going down, and all that. So it's been like that. And then the 2 points gap is not ordinary. It's something. If they can actually sustain it, they will win the league. But who knows? You know, Arsenal now.
It's too early for you.
So what I'm saying, I say consistency. If they continue that way, giving down 2 goals, 2 points a lead.
They've only played very few matches.
And then what I've said will just interest Arsenal fans. I know you may not be happy with it, but that is the truth. So I don't know, but let's hope that the consistency will continue. And then we'll see Arsenal, not just towards the end of this thing, they'll start dropping, going down and all that. It will not be nice. As Liverpool won it, will also be good for Arsenal to come up and do something. If that will be, it will be nice. But I believe some of the teams that have lost, hopefully the next matches they may go back to the drawing board and get it right, and then they will move.
Okay, very quickly, let us move away from the English Premier League. Let us come back home and see what our own under 20 players are doing. I said let's come back home, but of course we just had to touch down at home, then move to South America. That's Chile, where the under 20 World Cup is ongoing. The Flying Eagles did escape by the whiskers early this morning. That match was played 12 a.m. That was when the match started. Nigeria played its 3rd match. That was against Colombia. Colombia scored first. Then we did have the Flying Eagles, of course, fly back to nick one back, and that was enough to qualify the Flying Eagles to the next round. But before we sit back and discuss how far they fared, and of course the discontent among Nigerians given their performance, let us watch the screens and see exactly how the goals did come, how they fired out, how the Colombians scored first, and how the Nigerians responded. Let us see that video.
Of the group phase of the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile, Nigeria continue their quest to make the last 16 against Colombia, whose place in the next round is already assured. The stage is set in the city of Talca. So Suleiman Sani, who is more than capable of causing problems, and he's done so now. Good delivery off the woodwork, and Colombia survive by the skin of their teeth. Gonzalez looking menacing again. Villarreal touched off wonderfully, and in! Kene Gonzalez has finally come to the party for Colombia. And there's an overload over on that side, and that's where it's gone. Can Nigeria find their response? Not quite. But you can't get much closer than that. Out on towards Salihu. Chance here, Maigana! Oh, they've hit the frame of the goal again! 3 times now in one game. Real standout player for Nigeria at these finals, Ariehi. He's got clear of Mosquera, still with work to do, laying it back for Maigana. And now Nigeria are asking for a handball. Penalty for Nigeria. Can he succeed again when Nigeria need him the most? Yes, he can! Nigeria back on terms. The coolest man around. And that is it in Talca. And Nigeria have qualified for the round of 16. Colombia knew they were going through anyway. Full-time score, Nigeria 1, Colombia 1.
And that was how we had the Nigeria's under 20, the Flying Eagles, fly back. It looked very unlikely because they had hit the woodwork 3 times.
That was
and imagine that they had
close.
converted those 3 goals. So that would have been like 4-1 for Nigeria against Colombia. And peradventure, if Nigeria had scored all of those goals, or even one more,
yes,
Nigeria would have not played Argentina in the round of 16 because, of course, so this brings us to the next conversation, the fact that 3 teams from Africa, of course, will be playing in the round of 16. We have Morocco, we will be taking up South Korea. We also have South Africa up against Colombia, the same team Nigeria drew against, while Nigeria will be up against Argentina. Now, here is it. It is only Morocco that has had 100% record. Of course, they defeated Brazil, and as we speak, Brazil,
they are out.
Powerhouse, world power in football, they are out of the under-20 World Cup currently being played by their neighbors, Chile. That is how strong the Moroccans are. And let us not forget, the Morocco in the last World Cup did do very well.
Very well.
They
the only African team that did very well.
And of course, they played to the semi-finals. They ended the tournament fourth. In the fourth place. Yeah, so that shows that there is something interesting going on in Morocco, not only for the male football. On the other hand, in the female football, Morocco have come a long way. They have invested so much in their infrastructure, so they're about one of the best countries with infrastructure in Africa. And of course, the kind of football they play, you find Nigerians wanting to go to Morocco to ply their trade because, of course, they pay well.
Yes.
We also talk about the fact that management of football, management of sports in Morocco has gone far, far higher than Nigeria. Nigeria before now used to be the powerhouse in Africa. But today, look at Morocco. They will be up against South Korea. And of course, given their 100% performance in the group stages, they are likely to defeat South Korea. So while we discuss Morocco up against South Korea, let us also look at the chances of South Africa against Colombia and Nigeria against Argentina. Before we came into the program, you had said it was end of the road for Nigeria, given that they will be playing against Argentina, a familiar foe.
Yeah, that was actually my fear, though that was behind camera, but now that I'm facing camera, as a patriotic Nigerian, I must tell you that the Flying Eagles, they have a great chance against Argentina. Yes, it's football, And then one good thing about tournament is that once they are playing, they are building on their mistakes. They lost their first game, won the second one, and continued that way. So you can see the improvement. And then woodwork, it was very close. Even though the Senegalese cannot kill a bird, but they were close. So if they can actually, if the coach Zubairu, yes, if he can actually reorganize his boys, and they knowing fully well that they're going to play Argentina, it's football and anything can happen. And once, it's just winner takes all. Once we win, we move to the next round. And there's hope.
Let us also state here that the Flying Eagles qualified as best losers, as one of the few best losers, because of course they had just 4 points.
Yes, and some teams had
and of course they considered very few goals. So we must also. I am concerned. You see why I'm concerned?
Why?
It is usually Argentina. Whenever we meet Argentina, especially
that's always in the Senior World Cup.
Whether in the Senior World Cup, recall even in the age grade, we met.
Remember in 1996, we beat Argentina
in under 17 when we had Messi, when we had Taye Taiwo, when we had Mikel Obi and the rest. They defeated us.
That was in the under 20 years.
In the under 17, the under 20. I think even in the under 23. There was when we had the Stanley Okoro and the rest. There was a time we met them, and I honestly at this moment cannot remember what it looked like. But they've always had head to head. They've had.
No doubt about that. But 2025 is a different ball game, and Chile 2025 is a different ball game. I can assure you that the Flying Eagles, they know what it takes, and they know about all this history. And even though in football we believe that history can actually say a lot, but the coaching crew know what is at stake. the players themselves know that if anything happens negative, they are coming home, and they wouldn't want to, especially in this era where our president has been rewarding them with OON and all that. So they know that if they can succeed in winning the Under-20 World Cup, it will be a big party for them. So they are not going to play about it. Even if they are going to lose, they are going to lose gallantly. But I'm telling you, they will not lose. That's always, for the Argentines, they must also feel that, no, the Nigerians have nothing to offer. And that will give our players the added advantage. Because in football, when you're underrated, you can actually spring surprises. Well, so we cannot write them off. Two
scenarios won't just leave my head. Number one, Lionel Messi, Sergio Aguero, Angel Di Maria against Ambrose Van Zeken. We recall how that final was and how Nigeria lost. Number two, Lionel Messi in the national team up against Vincent Enyema. You recall those heroic saves.
That was the 2018 World Cup.
Yeah, recall those heroic saves. At the end of the day, Messi had to go and, of course, hug Vincent Enyema. But then, it still came at a cost because we lost. So, actually. At this point, looking at how far we've come, looking at the fact that, yes, the Super Eagles and the Flying Eagles first lost their first match. Won the second one against Saudi Arabia, but they conceded a lot of goals. So it was a war of who won or who scored more goals.
Yes.
Then the third one, they could only score one against Colombia, coming back from the rear. So what is the guarantee that we've learned our lessons? Or that, because it's usually a matter of not learning lessons.
Yes, but it's obvious from the first game and second game. Considering only one goal against Colombia, Colombia is one of the best footballing nation. I think they're in the top 5 in the world.
Especially at the Under-20 level.
Yes, and it's considering conceding only a goal against Colombia and having greater scoring chances, just that it didn't enter. It's counted as goals on target, shots on target. We had like that 4 also. So I can tell you that we have hope. Even though a lot of analysts have written off the team saying that they wobbled, they didn't do well. But generally, you look at results. If Colombia were not lucky to score and we had converted our own, it would have been a different ballgame. And if we had defeated them like 4-0 or 3-0 as it were, we would have been said, going to any team that we're going to meet. Yes, remember, let me remind you, 2021 Nations Cup, where 2021 in Cameroon, when we qualified with 9 points to this team. We met Tunisia that qualified as the best loser. Good. What happened? It was just a single goal against Madikokwe, and we couldn't equalize. When they introduced Alex Iwobi, he was given a red card, and that was the end of the match. We lost. A team that qualified with 9 points and then lost
9 points.
Good, and lost a team that qualified as the best loser.
So using
football cannot be
using this to give Nigerians some hope.
Yes,
going into this match against
exactly. We have a lot of hope.
All right. So for me, my fingers are crossed. I wait to see what the outcome of that particular one will be. But history on this particular one has not always favored Nigeria.
It will not repeat itself.
So we pray, and of course we support, while we hope that it won't be the same way. Let us move very quickly away from that to the Super Eagles camp, where of course Nigerians did play over the weekend in their respective club sides, and afterwards they will now be making their way back to the Super Eagles camp because there are a number of matches that we will be expecting them to play. 2 matches actually. The first one against Lesotho, that's for the 2026. Yes, that's the World Cup qualifiers. The first will be against Lesotho. That's going to be away from home. After that, 2 or 3 days later, about 4 days later, they will be back to the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, where they will be taking on Benin Republic. At this point, let us quickly put up the team list on the screen so that we get to know exactly. These are the teams that we will be playing this international break. First, Nigeria will take on Lesotho on October 10. That's going to be away from home. Then after that, 4 days later, we will be playing the Republic of Benin back in Nigeria.
It's also important you said that away from home in South Africa.
Whether it is South Africa or not, but that's away from home.
Yes, but you know the South Africa.
You think it's going to be a neutral ground for Lesotho?
No, it's a home ground for them because South Africans will support them against Nigeria, knowing fully well that the results Nigeria getting 3 points there will put pressure on them. So that's why that venue is very important.
Okay, away from that, let us look at the full squad lists as released by Eric Chell. So that's the list that we have there on the screen. We have Stanley Nwabali in goal, we have Amas Obasogie, and we have Adebayo Adeleye. These are the 3 goalkeepers that we will be filing during this international break. And for the defenders, we have Felix Agu, we have Bruno Onyemechi, we have Bright Osai Samuel, Semi Ajayi, William Tristekong, Calvin Bassey, and Benjamin Frederick. For the midfield, we have Alex Iwobi, Wilfred Ndidi, Frank Onyeka, and Al-Hassan Yusuf. For the forward, we have Simon Moses, Ademola Lukman, Tolu Arokodare, Victor Osimhen, Terem Murphy, Cyril Dessas, Samuel Chukwueze, Akor Adams, and Ola Olusegun. But then, 2 days after this list was released, there was an update because, of course, we have a number of injuries that have rocked the team. So currently, as we speak, we have Zaidu Sanusi, who is replacing Bright Osai Samuel, and of course, we also have Uche Chrysanthus, who is replacing Cyril Dessas. Recall the last time Cyril Dessas came, he did not impress, and of course, Nigerians did speak not very good things about Cyril Dessas.
All of us actually condemned that attack on him by the Nigerian Football Federation and many Nigerians, because in football, since it's a 11, or since it's a team game, it's not good to apportion blame to a single player. It was not nice to single him out. Though when we saw his name, most of us commended it, because if they had dropped him, it would have been somehow. But now that the excuse is coming that he had an injury, which I'm not very sure. Okay.
Yes, he's injured because he played in the last. He played his in his last match, his last club match. Okay. He did not complete it. Yeah, he was subbed at some point.
So it's good that interestingly, he also scored in his club.
Yeah, he's been scoring in his club.
Yeah, he has been scoring. So it's good that they invited him, now he's replaced. And then bringing in Uche Chrysanthus. It's most of us that have followed Super Eagles for a long time, when I saw that list, the platform that I complained about in midfield, and somebody was writing whatever. But I think
a number of others have complained that there is no creativity in the midfield.
And somebody was telling me, coach, remember now, so all those things. I'm happy when I saw Uche Chrysanthus back. I'm happy because that we are playing 2 games. I know football. Look at your line. He played 7 minutes in South Africa and got injured, and was replaced by Samuel. So
up until now, he has not returned.
Up till now,
yes, he's still a minus for Nottingham Forest.
So now, if you carry only 4 midfielders also that to play 2 international matches, it's not very very good. So bringing in Chrysanthus Uche into the mix will add depth to that midfield, and we need 6 points, and then with the 6 points, we also pray that South Africa and Benin will sleep. At least if South Africa can sleep, then in New York will settle the matter with Benin. So that is it. For me, you know me very well. I'm not losing hope. I'm still believing that.
Paul, are you still hopeful that the Super Eagles will qualify for the 2026?
Yes, I'm hopeful, because South Africa will play Rwanda, and Rwanda defeated them 2-0 in Kigali, and they will be playing Rwanda in South Africa. And Rwanda knows that if they beat South Africa in South Africa, they will get 14 points. Haven't been on 11 points, so they stand a chance. So it's a good one for us. So if they can get that 3 points in South Africa, which is interesting, it can happen. I know the good thing about this deduction of 3 points from South Africa is that
it gives other teams an opportunity.
And it put pressure on them. It put pressure on the team. So they may even be aggressive. I don't know. I'm not predicting for batting, but they may even get a red card in South Africa, and that would be good. That would be home and dry. So let's just see how it goes.
I mean,
I'm only speculating. I'm not saying.
When we were supposed to play our matches,
we didn't take the
win
chances.
all our matches, we did not take the chances.
Yes.
Now we're praying that other teams should sleep so that Nigeria will wake up. At this point, sir, at this point, is it the right thing to do? Why are we always pushing ourselves to this corner?
No, we sacked the coach that qualified us to the 2018 World Cup with a game to spare.
Before you even speak to that, let us also not forget that the match against Benin Republic will be against Gernot Rohr.
Who knows our team very well.
Who understands every player in the team. And again, given the fact that we're complaining of our midfield lacking creativity at this point, especially given what the squad list looks like, do we stand a chance of defeating? At this point, I do not care whether we're talking about playing the match in Uyo, because we lost in Uyo, we drew in Uyo.
Sure.
Yes,
of course.
I mean, what is the surety? What's your certainty that Nigeria will beat Gernot Rohr's Benin Republic in Uyo?
It will be a war. as far as football is concerned, because you know that the last games we played simultaneously, if I'm not mistaken, because of the technicalities, and I think that has always been the pattern. Group C matches, I'm thinking, if they can follow the same pattern they'll be using, it may be played simultaneously, and our destiny will be on our hands. If South Africa can sleep, if Benin can sleep, do you understand? In their first matches, no, do you understand the thing? If they can drop points, no, it's possible. This is football. South Africa, we are overrating them as if they are what? It's just South Africa. Maybe they Sundown players. So if they can drop points in South Africa, it's possible. We'll drop points in you and nobody died.
Okay, John Paul.
So if they can drop points
let this be your parting shot. Because
okay, no problem. So if these two teams that are leading with 14 points, interestingly, can sleep somehow, drop points, my brother, our destiny will be on our hands. It will be left for Super Eagles of Nigeria to deliver here in New York. And I'm optimistic as a Nigerian, knowing that we are always good with calculator and doing magic at the last final.
Fellow Nigerians, we've always had our destinies in our hands.
But you have to be patriotic.
We have always not taken them. But for now, I will join faith with that of John Paul. Since he said we are going to qualify, I look forward to having the Super Eagles qualify for the 2026 World Cup. And of course, at this point, I will say God bless Nigeria. Good afternoon.
Amen.